We go to the schools, the classes, and everything else become the priority. Then only we see if there's any time for me to study.
I know it's a hazard. I know it's a troublesome.
So is it practical for me to study in the morning or study at night? That's the second thing. The third thing is the sustainability. I think that is the most important thing.
Even in the morning, even in the night, you can look at it in a different way, different sustainable way, not just a different hard hazardous way, sustainable way.
When it comes to studying, we always think that we need to cram everything just the night before and go to the exam in the next day. I wonder, Dulin, is there a better way for doing this? Yes, obviously the other way would be to study early in the morning or at the night. Those are the two obvious choices we have. So actually, is there a better time to study? That would be the interesting question.
Yeah, that is the question. But most of our students, they prefer to follow a routine pathway. Like they would never put the effort to get up early.
Yeah.
But then they'll spend the day, they'll go to their classes, school, and then tuition class, and then come back. And then only they'll put an effort to, they know that inside their heads, they know that they have to study, they have to prepare for their exam. So because of that, now they're ready to put an effort and cram out in the night. And that is a routine pattern.
Yes, correct. So that means obviously, so as a student, if we need to succeed, let's say go through the exams well, the studying should be the main priority. Like it is the main number one thing we should do. That means if we are scheduling our week ahead, the studying process should be the first thing we should consider. Yeah. But unfortunately, what happens is we go to the schools, the classes, and everything else become the priority. Then only we see if there's any time for me to study. Right? What do you think?
Yeah. So the priority, in the case of a priority aspect, what happens is everybody wants to just spend time for the sake of spending time. They're going for classes, they are going for school time. But the thing is, their proper focus should be their studies. Just like Praveen said, proper focus should be studies, and their day should be spanned around the studying time frames, right? So self-study should be number one. But the thing is, even the parents, even the students, they will not put an active effort to put that to their priority list, number one priority. But
yes,
yeah, things are like that.
Yeah. So let's change that thing, right? We need to change our perspectives in order to actually do better in exams, I would say. What would you think the most two key aspects that we need to consider when thinking this is the time that I should be studying? So first thing first, we have a very clean plate here now. So studying is the main priority. We'll be scheduling studying first before everything else, before classes, everything. Yeah, this is a big thing because we used to go to the classes, we find the best tutors, we go to the classes and do everything else after. But we are saying studying should be the main priority. That should be the first thing that you schedule on the calendar.
Yes.
So what are the two things that we can do, like to find the best time to study?
Yes.
What do you say?
So it depends on the person. It depends on the student, and the parent should know this first of all. And the thing is, I think we have 4 points to navigate that. For anyone, for any student to find their best time to study, according to them and according to human biology as well, there are 4 points. So throughout this program, we'll discuss 4 points. Right. So first of all, I would like to bring out this point, memory retention and recall. So why are we studying, right? We study to prepare for an exam. We study to acknowledge, we study to gain knowledge, right? For those three things, we have to accept that this is why we are studying. But the students, they are studying in order to get through 2 or 3 days of exam and then forget about it. Good for all, right? But the thing is, the correct thing that should happen is they should get the knowledge, they should retain it for a longer period so that they could put it to real work, right? So memory retention and recall. So that comes to a certain level that people, first of all, people don't pay attention to that. People just want to study, students just want to study. And so I will bring out facts for you to, it will be easy for you to compare what time would be appropriate for me to study, right? Get an idea. So let's say in the morning time, let's say morning time, what happens when you wake up in the morning? I know it's a hazard. I know it's a troublesome thing to wake up in the morning because it's easier for us to spend some time throughout the night, deep into the night, rather than waking up early in the morning. But the thing is, if you wake up in the morning, I'm not trying to be biased here, but I'm bringing out real facts, the real biology facts, so that it will be easier for you to work with it in the longer run. So it will be hard for you to start something in it, we know basically it is hard for us to initiate anything at all, right? If you don't like it, if you don't love it, it's hard for us to initiate anything. So it's hard for us to wake up in the morning, but still, if you wake up in the morning, early in the morning, let's say 5 a.m. If you're going to school by 7, after 7 a.m., you have to prepare to go to school. You have to wash yourself and everything. It will take around 45 minutes. So let's say until 6 a.m. you have time. So you can wake up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning, at least put 1.5 hours effort to your study. Okay, that you can do. It's a simple thing, but still you can't wake up in the morning. So what happens when you wake up in the morning? Your brain is fresh. It's fresh. Like we know that. At least 6 hours of sleep, better than nothing, right? Better than 2-3 hours of sleep, better than cramming into night. You'll see throughout the video. So what happens is your sleep, your continuous 6 hours of sleep, it improves your memory consolidation. So what is memory consolidation? Means what you studied the last night, what you studied yesterday, what you studied last 2 or 3 days, that has to be gained into your long-term memory. So that happens by memory consolidation. So once again brought out by proper sleep. Okay. So brain is fresh and it is well rested. Now when you wake up in the morning, your brain is ready to take information. Your brain is ready to process logical thinking. So what are the logical subjects? Maths and science. That is why we always suggest when you wake up in the morning, it is very good if you can study, if you are studying for O levels and A levels, even if you are in the middle school days, 6, 7, 8, 9, if you have science and maths, you need to study those things. And if you wake up in the morning, better to study science and maths because logical thinking is very easy at that point. Because it will take you 4 to 5 hours in the evening or in the night to study something in the science or maths field, but it will take you 1 hour, let's say 1.5 hours at the most in the morning. So those things are there. But let's come back to nighttime as well. So you can't actually put the blame on nighttime always. But the thing is, there are several facts that will help some students. If you are obviously right now putting out in a routine pattern to studying the night, right? Let's say deep into the night, it's very quiet, right? Deep into the night, it's very quiet, and you are obviously used to a study pattern throughout the night time. Now we are doing it for several months, several years. Now we are in the O level days, A level days. Now we are not going to change anything just like that. Just like a snap of the fingers, you can't change anything. But the thing is, when the night is quiet and very helpful to you, you have to take advantage of that. So it's good for your reading with a flow. If you have built up a flow in the night time, it's good for your reading because the retention part, what I mentioned before, the memory retention and recall part, you might be used to it to do in the night time, right? For the past few months, you have been doing this, so you're not going to change now. But the environment is there for you to study. You have gained a pattern way of studying throughout this period, throughout these months. Now, what you can do is you can improvise on that, right? So, what I'm telling is you don't have to put the night time aside and focus on the morning time, but it is better to get you better to start a morning session if you are starting to study for an exam fresh. But if you're used to a pattern in the night, it's okay to continue. And memory retention and recall is something like that. You can compare it like that. Morning will be having an advantage, but if you're used to something carrying out in the night, it's okay to continue as well. Right.
Actually, with your science explanation backed by science, so I think there are like three points we need to consider. First one is the sleep. So that's number one. We need to get a proper amount of sleep in order to function anyway. So that's number one. The second thing is the practicality of it. So is it practical for me to study in the morning or study at night? That's the second thing. The third thing is the sustainability. I think that is the most important thing. Whatever I'm doing, is it sustainable for me? Sustainable means, can I do it for a longer period of time? So it is just not a week or two. Can I do it for the next term or the year entirely, or until the O levels are done or the A levels are done? So I think whenever we make a decision about when we are going to study, it should be about sustainability. So from my experience, there's one more thing. During O level days, I used to study early in the morning, like very early in the morning, and used to sleep very early, like 7:30 p.m. I'm done.
And then you are getting up at 3 to
2 a.m. sometimes. It was not like forced.
But you were used to that routine, right?
Yeah. Like I used to get like on a consistent basis, I used to get around 5 to 6 hours. So that was the 5 to 6 hours of sleep. Yeah, that was enough for me. And I used to wake up naturally and I could carry on and maybe like take a nap in the after lunch, something like that. So it became sustainable for me. And then when it came to A level, the classes were longer. The days were like, super heavy, busy, and it's very tiring going in the bus and coming back home in the bus, and it is really like make me tired, like to wake up in the morning. So it, as you mentioned, it was way easier for me to stay late and study. And back in the university, it was like kind of a mix of. So certain days there were like we would stay at late. So if you feel like I cannot study now, it is just be tired, I would wake up in the morning, right?
Yeah.
So what we need to make sure is, so if someone's watching this, is studying all levels, and you may think, yes, I can study at night, and then comes to A levels, it is not mandatory for you to study at night. You can always change. So that is the number one thing we need to be focused on. So, and then again, I'm coming back about the practicality thing, right? How practical it is for you to study at night or in the morning. So once again, I'll give you my example. At night, like the house was so busy. There were like people running around, watching TVs and all. So when it comes to me, I need a perfect quiet around surroundings for me to study. So morning was the obvious choice for me. And then when it came to A level, like, I could demand everything and, I'll take the night. So anyway, I'll be late when it comes to home. So anyway, all the things will be done and I have a perfect quiet surrounding for me to study. So the one main thing is it practical for you to study at night or in the morning? Right? Say like what happened to me, if your house is very noisy at night, I would suggest you can easily wake up in the morning and you have a reason for it to wake up in the morning, right? That way you will get your peace of mind as well as your family's. So it's like the thing is, I don't think it is, justifiable for parents to ask, after their hectic days, just, don't do anything after I'm studying, don't do anything else, just be like monks for the rest of the night. And I need to study, so I don't think it is justifiable for them to ask.
Yes.
And I think so, as a student, we must learn how to navigate along those the challenges we may face when we need to study or work, whatever. So the second point is the practicality thing, right? So suppose you are not able to study at night, then what we do? So we need to wake up in the morning. How are we able to wake up in the morning? So that's the magic thing now. Never set an alarm to wake up in the morning to study. That's the thing. Why? Studying is not that fun, right? We all hate studying, right? To get an A in the exam, that is not a worthy thing to do, right? It's on the very surface level. So yes, there's a higher thing. So we learn these things, it's like enlightening us. So that's a very higher state of mind. But as students, like 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, I'm not very convinced that we are able to reach that state. Still, we are trying to get an A, get the Z score we need to get into a university. That's it, right? So if you have that perspective in mind, I don't think it is practical for you to wake up in the morning to study.
So what are you suggesting? Like aim for something else and then
Yes,
come back to
correct.
study.
Yes, I have a like very good experience of it. So when my twins were born, so I was the one who was making the formula,
Okay.
right? So my boy used to sleep with his grandmother, and the girl with my girl with us. And my mother didn't know how to make the formula, the right amount of quantity, the water, the formula to put into the bottle. So my boy used to wake up really in the morning, in the early morning around 4 a.m., 4:30. He used to wake up and cry for milk. So what I did was, so it was not very easy if you like, if you're watching the parents, it's not really easy to wake up in the morning after making them sleep at night.
Yeah.
So what I did was I woke up 3:30 a.m. because I need to prepare the milk. If I am not awakened, nobody else would be making that milk, and that would be miserable for my son, right? So take everything from yourself to the outside. There's an outside obligation. Like studying is inside of me. I have to study. That is my obligation.
Okay.
Right? Take that out to the outside. Because when it is my obligation, I can maybe like sleep today and wake up tomorrow. I get that notion. Right? But if it is outside, let's say I need to cut vegetables for my mom before she wakes up, so that it will be easier for her to make up breakfast and lunch to go to school.
So you are telling me that it's a responsible that you're carrying out towards others.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So we need to put that out there.
Yeah.
Then we wake up. Maybe you can carry that obligation in like 30 minutes or so. Since you are awake now, you can study. You see the very slight difference of it.
Yeah.
You don't wake up to study. You study because you are up.
Okay. So that means you have to commit to that task, but you have to, let's say now, 4 a.m. You know that you have to start studying by 4 a.m. Like it's a time frame target.
Yes.
But still, then in your perspective, I'm waking up way before that. Let's say 15 minutes earlier than that.
Yes.
And now, since you are woken up already, now we are starting studying by 4 a.m.
Yes.
So that day after day, you are waking up 10 to 15 minutes earlier for that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Otherwise, what happens is, if we say I'll be waking up at 4 a.m. to start studying at 4 a.m., it never happens. Like 4 a.m., you are still groggy and you are still sleepy, and you think, okay, I'll just sleep through today and wake up tomorrow morning to study. So that happens. But if you wake up at 3:30 with another obligation in mind, you perform that obligation. By performing, like, you physically become active and physically you become awake. And also you get that fulfillment of, okay, I did something. Okay. Nothing related to studying or nothing. Okay. Now that I am awake,
yes,
I will study.
Okay. So I get that. It's a valid point. It's a good point. And the other thing is what the students can aim for right now, right? For example, now you had several tasks. For your kid to have milk, you needed to prepare that. So way before that time, that appropriate time, you woken up. And then for that example, your parent might need to be cooking at certain time, and then you wake up earlier than that and cut the vegetables. Okay, so now we have helped your mother. You have achieved something. Now we put that effort into studying. So exactly, if you have achieved something, there will be a dopamine release, and then it will be very helpful for you to carry out studying. Excellent. So on the other hand, how the students can, what the students can aim for here, right? They have to study. So what can they target in their lives to wake up early, to small tasks, so that they can benefit in the same way that you benefited from it? What can they aim for in their lives?
Like I mentioned, like if your parents are cooking in the morning, Yeah, wake up and cut the vegetables for them. That will be like really put a surprise on them.
Yeah.
And also like you can wake up and do some push-ups or
Yeah.
do a workout.
Work on it themselves, no?
Yeah, work on themselves. And just maybe like wake up and just walk here and there. Just go outside and stare at the sky, whatever.
Yeah.
So just enjoy the peaceness of in the morning, right? And maybe like just sweep the floor and clean the room. Do something, do some activity that will get that, like maybe even like preparing the sheets on the bed,
Yeah.
even that counts. Do something that is like easily you can check that out. Okay, I did this. As you mentioned, Lynn, that will release the dopamine hit that we can carry out to the studying
Studies.
process.
Yeah. Yes.
That will be, you'll be like super beneficial. Okay, I did this, now I'm here. Okay, now I have the science or the maths or what the any subjects that you may have to study to that day, you will be fully pumped up to study. Right. That will be like easier uh process, that easier time. Actually, like 1 hour, you may be like you dreaded like, oh, I cannot study 1 hour. So you by the 1 hour mark, you will feel like, oh, I wish I have another 30 minutes to finish this off. That is the superpower you can get actually, just changing the narrative. I don't have to study. I know I don't need to wake up to study. I study simply because I am up.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because I hope everyone gets it, because it's not a new thing, but uh, let's say it is around us. It is something normal that we can do, but hopefully you get it, because it's a new thing that you can adhere to your routine, right? Excellent point made by Praveen. So just like Praveen said, there are various points that you can adhere to your newly found routine. If you are going for an exam, you are preparing for an exam, now we are trying to start studying, now we are trying to initiate studying, even in the morning, even in the night, you can look at it in a different way, different sustainable way, not just a different hard hazardous way, sustainable way, because the sustainability will carry out your process without you knowing what is happening, right? The exam will be in 2-3 months, exam will be in 2-3 weeks, doesn't matter. If you are carrying out, if you are following a sustainable way, it will help you, obviously. And then we have another thing to discuss, the health and energy part, right? You might be wondering, or let's say students are asking us, students are asking him, students are asking me, sir, I have an exam in 2 weeks time, so is it okay if I sleep only for 2 hours in the night, let's say from 12 a.m. midnight to 2 a.m. in the morning, and sir, I need to cram out many things, so is it okay? So they are asking us to get our verbal permission for them to carry out. Students think, parents have to know this, the more you put, the more you study, the more hours you are woken up to study, it's okay, it's all in your head, right? It's all in your head, and you will be able to put everything out when you go to the exam. That is their perspective. This happens because they didn't have a plan at first, they didn't do their work at first, and they didn't follow the sustainable routine. But now they are at a turmoil whether to do this and how to do this. Okay, so the thing is, this is following this, you are going to do more damage than you are going to do in a normal pattern, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I always say, I think we mentioned previously as well,
Yeah.
we are not a ceiling fan. Like it's no, we are not a ceiling fan. We can just switch on whenever we like and switch off whenever we like.
Exactly.
Right? It is not. We have like a very, how do you say that? Very sensitive system. Very sensitive. Like it requires like clear direction what's happening, and it needs rest, a proper rest. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a system. We are human. We are living beings playing with emotions. Cognition is everything. So if you if you do damage to that, even for a machine, if you do damage to that, not gonna work properly, right? You're not gonna get the output that we deserve, right? That we are focusing to. So what happens is, if you do not get the rest, if you forget your rest and nutrition part. So I'm not telling you to focus on the nutrition as you are going to the gym. Like, this is not something like that. You're not gonna eat 5 eggs per day, 2-3 chicken thighs. It's not something like that. It's just proper meals, proper hydration, and proper rest. Simple as that. Whether you are studying in the morning, whether you are studying in the night, doesn't matter. get your 6 hours, get your proper 6 hours, because some people, some students, they are coming up with nice various ideas. So they are coming up with the idea, so what if I get my 6 hours sleep divided into 3 categories? I'll sleep, I'll take a nap in the afternoon and then again in the night, early in the morning. What happens then? Not gonna work, Puta. The problem is you have to get your rest, you have to get your sleep in a continuous way. 6 hours should be continuous, shouldn't be categorized, shouldn't be divided in throughout the day. Not gonna work. Your rest should be continuous.
Yeah. I think that's come from like the elites that we used to, no, not used to, like we are seeing on a daily basis, like Nikola Tesla, Leonardo da Vinci. They used to do polyphasic sleeping. So we have
Even Einstein.
Yes, even Einstein. So what we need to understand is we are not individuals. That individual.
That particular individual,
That particular individual. So like like the Isaac Newton.
Yeah.
If like lucky he was born in his country, not in Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan coastal area, coconut
My
for him. Yeah. So it's like based on, if we cannot like copy and paste all the experiences, all the circumstances of some person we see as successful, we cannot like do exactly what they did in order for us to succeed. So that then we need to come back to the base of the average. What does the average doing? What happens when I'm at the average? So as you mentioned, we need like proper continuous amount of sleep. So that is the average. Then only you can see if I can when you are in kind of a flow of that, that you can sustainably flow that routine. Maybe like several months, I think I would say we need that practice. After that, maybe like we can see maybe like reduce an hour. Can we do that? Can I do that? So you'll see like if my energy is not that affected from it, maybe like I can sleep for 5 hours. So that is not like start from tomorrow thing.
Yeah.
Like it's a continuous experimental thing that you have to do. So before that, we need to settle on the average and make a routine out of it.
So yes, basically, so in a way, you have to rest. You have to get proper rest, proper energy supplies to your brain, because brain is number one. That is where the studying happens. That is where the consolidation happens. That is where the cognition happens. And whatever you do in the exam paper, everything comes out from here. So need proper rest. So now what we are telling is not to focus on rest itself. After you do your studies, you can rest. Okay. So there's a way to do everything. There's a pattern. There's a correct way. There's an easy way. Because if you do not do these things, it's going to be hard at the end. Right. So that is how you're going to create a productive, sustainable study pattern for you to prepare for your exams. So we have made out several points. How you can start studying, initiate studying, how you can carry it out, how you can make it sustainable until you face your exams, because you're not going to stop. I know everyone is looking only to pass the exams, but learning, you're spending your lifetime. These are seconds, valuable seconds of your lifetime. So what is the point of spending them and not getting rewards? I mean, not using them after some time. So do not focus just on your exam. Learn for your life. That is our message. Learn it correct way, learn it the better way, learn for your life.
Yes. So about the nutrition, I would like to touch a little bit on nutrition. So as a medical doctor, what would you suggest for the students to do? Yes, sleep is number one. Then on nutrition basis, what kind of foods to eat? Maybe what to avoid? I heard about the omega-3s, the DHAs and EPAs. So that is good to take fish oil for students to improve the cognitive performance as well. So any take on that?
Yeah, good point you made, because we have to focus on that. What to eat exactly, right? So number one thing is not hard meals. I'm gonna focus number one thing as hydration, because hydration will affect your brain. No, I mean like the hardest way. This is the most hazardous way. So you have to hydrate yourself at least 2 liters per day, right? That not 2 liters at the exact second. I mean, like if I did throughout the day, so you know how to do this. Just like that, when you come to hard meals, I would take an example, right? So when I used to study, not like I used to study when we were in the A-level days, just like you. I mean, like you might have had the same example, same experience. Let's say my parents and my mom knows that I'm going to study throughout the night. Let's say, okay, so I did it the wrong way, studied deep into the night. So what she would do is she would get me a huge bowl of rice. So out of love, our parents would do this huge bowl of rice with everything, and then there will be desserts as well. So because my kid is studying hard, he needs energy. This is not energy. Okay, energy is not a huge bowl of rice. Whatever huge it is, not gonna be energy. It will only make you sleep way easier and way earlier. Okay, you will be falling asleep just soon as you finish your meals. So that is not that. So I would suggest when if you are studying into the night, okay, if you are studying into the night, your meal should be light. Definitely, your meal should be light, and it should be even like if you are starting your night session at around 8 p.m., you should at least finish your meals by 7:15. You have to have a 30 to 40 minutes for digestion, and then you will be able to focus on your studies because the blood flow will be divided into several places. When you finish your meals, the more flow will be divided into your stomach and digestion. And then you have to get it to your brain. Otherwise, you will fall asleep. Okay? So, you need that period. So, what are the food items? So, the specific items that you can have when you are studying. Okay, I'm not telling right. Just like you mentioned, omega-3 is there, fish oil is there, but you don't go out of the way to get fish oil or omega-3 anything. If you can get, just say, uh, let's say fish on a continuous, not on a continuous basis, at least 2-3 times per week with an egg. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing fancy. No red meat going out of the way to trouble your parents. Nothing. Okay. So while you can do that 2-3 times per week, and also when you are studying, most of us we are used to snacking and energy drinks, right? So energy drinks won't do you anything. It will only make you get addicted to that because of the caffeine part. It's only gonna make you addicted to that, not gonna help you in any way. And you think it's a psychological thing. It- because it is an energy drink, you think you get energy.
Yes.
The sugar will get you energy, okay? Even if you get a pinch of sugar and then put it in your mouth, it'll give you energy. Same thing happens there. They have high sugar.
Yes.
You know that, no? So glycemic index is very high. Because of that, you get energy. Obvious things. So not gonna help you. High snacking not gonna help you. Even let's say you want to, bite into something, you might be used to drinking black coffee. It's okay. The calorie count is very low. Not like 5-6 cups of coffee, but 2-3 will be enough if you are going for 5-6 hours of study. Along with that, let's say some are used to get consume peanuts, chickpeas, something like that. Low calorie, high energy. So low calorie, high energy. Okay, not in high amounts, but that's the way to go with your studies. Okay, so that is the nutrient part along with your hydration.
Yes, correct. So I would like to touch on that the hydration part a little bit more, because we think like when we go to when we were doing A levels,
Yeah.
like I have seen like majority of the students take a rice packet and some carbonated drink,
Yes.
right? That is not water. Carbonated drink is not like any way compared like having the you don't get the same advantages of drinking 200 ml of water like from a 200 ml of carbonated drink. So I think we need to reduce the amount of using the carbonated drinks. I think
Exactly.
it has like sugars and other stuff. I don't know what they are putting in there the first place, but water defeats them all. Water is the I think the single source, like the super friend of students. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as Durin mentioned, you have to be mindful of what you take in, right? You take in the information part as well, the knowledge from the books and the classes by doing it yourself, studying, and also you need to be really mindful of what you take in physically into your body. So ultimately, the everything about us is made from those things that we eat and drink. From everything we discussed today, the main point I would like for you all to take is the sustainability part. Is this sustainable for me? Can I wake up in early morning and do it on a continuous basis? Can I stay late at night and do the studies and do it on a continuous basis without disrupting my sleep or the activities on the next day? That is the key takeaway from the discussion. And then you have to think of the practicality aspect of waking up early or staying at night. And then the nutrition. Everything circles back to sustainability. Can you take a good amount of nutrition on a continuous basis, not just a one day or like, after on the next month? No, nothing else. You don't have to be fancy about, you don't need to go to a drugstore and take all the vitamin pills that you may purchase. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to do those things. You just need to hydrate and get like light, as Duri mentioned, light, good amount of quality food. That's it.
Once again, it's a productive program. So if you think this is valuable for you, please share, subscribe, like, and follow us, Exam Crushers, on YouTube, and share with your friends. So until next time, cheers.